final resting place. I step out of the bathroom and into the living room of my mother's farmhouse. I walk across the carpeted floor, past the Christmas tree, and into the kitchen, where I get a perfect view of the mess being made in the construction of a slanted gingerbread house. My mother's busy making up stories about the family living in that crooked house. She spins her yarn for a room full of frosting-flecked children. Inspired by his grandmother's imagination, Noah regales his cousins with his own embellishments. Quitting my day job in California and moving back here was the best decision I ever made. After Stacy, my thieving boss, confessed to what she'd done, they said they'd keep me on, but I wasn't interested in playing along like nothing had ever happened. Besides, I have bigger plans for my life now. In the next room, Jen and Tom are embroiled in a game of euchre against Vanessa and her husband. Every now and then, Jen turns her attention away from her cards so she could take another look at the present my mother and I chipped in together to get. Seeing me and realizing she's been caught, Jen smiles. "Seriously," she says, "the single greatest Christmas gift of my life." "I'm glad you like it," I say. "We were supposed to get it last year as both a Christmas and wedding present." "Well, I love it." And with that, she scoops the large painting up and clutches it to her chest. It's a portrait done of when we were kids, sitting on Santa's lap at Nana and Pop's house. I poke my head into the basement, where I find my father. "Paulie, come on in. I'm just watching some TV." Settling into the couch beside him, I get a better look at what's playing on the screen. Lethal Weapon? Yeah, I just flipped it over. Can't tell which one. It's the best. The original. My father releases the remote, his mind made up to cease his channel surfing. "Oh, the Christmas one." I don't know if it qualifies as a Christmas movie. I mean, it's not a Christmas story, but there is a gunfight in a tree lot, and a car does crash through a decorated living room. Depends how you classify. I mean, it deals with mourning and suicide. My father shrugs. What's more Christmassy than depression and suicide? He watches in silence a moment before adding, "In the end, it's about family, right? And about how you can only truly appreciate life once you find a reason to live it." I nod, watching Danny Glover drool and bleed on his undershirt while Mel Gibson breaks his torturer's neck with his thighs. "Funny," I say. "I never really got that from this." As he laughs at my words, I'm struck by how much my father's grin resembles Chris's. "Maybe if I'd been a better father to you all those years, you'd have a deeper appreciation for cinematic masterpieces." I'm still not quite sure how to react to my father. He's hurt me more times than I care to remember, and I often worry if by allowing him back into our lives, we may merely be opening ourselves up for even more heartache. But then again, if I didn't give him this second chance, what kind of hypocrite would that make me? "Paul, are you down there?" Smiling at my father, I leap from the couch and run up the stairs. I stop short of the top. Standing a couple of steps down, I'm right at Amaya's eye level. Perfect for kissing. These days, she only allows a few pecks before turning away, but it's progress. This hasn't been easy for us. We started the new year standing on ashes and have worked hard to rebuild a new foundation. I've spent the year giving her reasons to trust me again. I've spent it showing her how much she means to me, and I will continue, if given the opportunity, to do so as we grow old together. I won't lie, I haven't been perfect, but I'm getting better. Wendy coos in her mother's arms. With a pragmatic tone, Amaya asks the infant, "Did you miss your daddy?" I tuck my finger into her tiny little hand. I missed her too. In the distance, I hear the strumming of an electric guitar. Amaya says, "I guess it's time for our jam session. Is Daniel here?" My dad didn't even let him sit down before he pulled him out there. Charging up the remaining steps, I say, "Well, let's rock and roll." As I pull on my coat and shoes, I greet Daniel's wife, who's giving her pumpkin pie recipe to my mother-in-law. Vanessa, Tom, and Jen abandoned their card game to join us. "Do you remember the lullaby you wrote for my brother and I?" Vanessa asks. Jen replies, "I am surprised you do." "You left a tape for us. Sometimes when we couldn't get to sleep, we'd play it. Did the trick every time." Convinced she's making fun of us, I ask, "That boring?" "No, it just works. It made us feel safe." Vanessa smiles sweetly at me. "That first night after the accident, when you were having trouble sleeping, I came into your room and sang it for you." I gaze at her, eyes widening to a world of possibilities I'd never realized. I know I'll never fully recover from losing my brother, but this Christmas, I have a whole sleigh of new siblings: Tom, Vanessa, Daniel, and their wonderful spouses. This whole holiday has been filled with conversation and laughter. We even found a way to joke about the asinine scene I'd made at Jen and Tom's wedding. I can't remember the last time I've laughed so hard. The muscles in my stomach feel like I've done 1,000,000 sit-ups. As we step out into the yard, I take a moment to stand under the rolling sky, where heavy gray clouds are colored by vivid morning light. The sun casts a golden glow across the face of the earth. I smile at Jen and say the words I know we've both been waiting for. I'm home. I've already had the finest Christmas I could imagine, but as I step out into the barn and prepare to play in my new band, I find I have one remaining gift. My grandfather's truck is back in its place, and I decide to pay my final respects. The passenger headlight is destroyed, with part of the grill smashed along with it. Of course, the door is gone, and the side that slammed into the bridge is dented beyond repair. It's taken its last ride. Something else must have shifted during the accident, because I discover a white shoebox protruding from under the tarp covering the bed. I can't quite explain it, but I get a pestering sense of déjà vu when I notice my name scrawled across the lid. I untie the shoelace keeping the dog-eared box shut. What I find fills me with inexplicable wonder. Lying inside, amongst balls of tissue, is a snow globe and dozens of delicate tree ornaments shaped like keys. There's also a note. "Dear Paul, believe in your dreams. Love always, Chris."